Anya had always been a quiet scientist, more at home in the quiet hum of her lab than in the loud chaos of galactic politics. Her job was simple: study the strange and unexplained phenomena of the cosmos aboard a remote space station. It was supposed to be an uneventful research mission, but that all changed when they detected something far from ordinary. The station's sensors had picked up a strange anomaly, a shimmering object that defied all logic. Floating in the black void of space, it was like a mirror that reflected no stars. A soft pulse of light rippled from it, beckoning them in. Anya, along with her small team, suited up for the investigation. The air in the station was tense, but Anya's scientific curiosity drove her. It was what she was born for: chasing the unknown, trying to understand the universe. As they neared the anomaly, the object seemed to grow larger, its surface rippling like liquid metal, shifting in response to their presence. And then, as if summoned by their arrival, a figure emerged from the mirror-like surface. She looked human, familiar, in fact, almost too familiar. Her face was an exact replica of Anya's own. For a moment, Anya froze, heart pounding. The alien's features were eerily like her own, but there was something else, something in her eyes that spoke of age, wisdom, and an unsettling sadness. The figure spoke softly. "I am the Mirror Queen." Anya took a step back, confused and alarmed. "Who are you? What is this place?" The Mirror Queen raised a hand, her voice tinged with sorrow. "I am from another universe, a universe where humanity won the war against the alien races, but at a cost. A universe where you, or rather, someone like you, caused the downfall of your own people." Anya's heart raced as she tried to process the words. She had heard of alternate realities, but never anything like this. The idea that a version of her had led to the downfall of humanity. It didn't make sense. The Mirror Queen continued, her gaze never leaving Anya's. "I have come to warn you. If you remain here, if you continue to learn the truth, the fabric of both our universes will begin to unravel. The link between us is fragile, and if we're not careful, both of our worlds will collapse." Anya felt a strange pull toward the figure, as though some part of her, deep within, understood the weight of the Queen's words. But at the same time, doubt clouded her mind. How could she trust a being who looked so much like her? Was this some kind of cosmic trick, or was this an opportunity to glimpse the truth about a reality that could have been? The Mirror Queen stepped forward, her voice low and urgent. "You must decide now. Stay and face the consequences, or leave and never see me, or the truth, again." Anya's team was watching from the distance, their communication silent but filled with unease. This wasn't just any scientific discovery. It was something far more profound, far more dangerous. Anya could feel the weight of the decision pressing on her chest. The pull of curiosity, the desire to understand, to learn what happened to the Mirror Queen's world. It was almost overwhelming. The Mirror Queen's eyes softened. "I offer you a choice, Anya. But know this, if you stay, you will be changed, and our worlds may never be the same again." The silence between them was thick with the weight of eternity. Anya's mind raced as she fought against her instincts to walk away, to forget this strange encounter and let her life remain simple. But the words of the Mirror Queen echoed in her ears. Was there more to this than just a meeting across space? Was this a warning, or a chance to change something far bigger? Her heart hammered in her chest as the answer seemed to ripple within her. It was a decision she couldn't ignore. Would she dare step into the unknown, or would she turn away, forever separated from a reality that might hold the key to saving her world? With a final glance at the Mirror Queen, Anya made her choice. Cliffhanger. The Mirror Queen's last words echoed in Anya's mind as she stepped forward into the shimmering anomaly. The fate of both their universes now rested on Anya's decision. Anya stood before the shimmering mirror-like portal, her heart racing as she made the decision to step into the unknown. The Mirror Queen had warned her of the consequences, but curiosity and a deep desire for answers pushed her forward. The universe she was about to enter was foreign, twisted, and broken. It wasn't just a mirror of her own world. It was something darker, something far more dangerous. The moment Anya passed through the anomaly, the air around her shifted. It felt colder, heavier, as if the very fabric of this universe had been battered and torn apart. She could feel the weight of its history pressing on her, as though it was alive, mourning its past. The stars were dimmer here, and the once beautiful landscapes were now scared, twisted remnants of what they had been. The earth was burnt, with craters and fires that never seemed to go out. The sky had a sickly hue, bruised from the endless conflict that had plagued this world. She stepped forward, her boots crunching on the shattered ground, every step feeling like a mark on a lost world. The silence was deafening. There were no bustling cities or sounds of civilization, only the haunting stillness of a once great empire that had been reduced to ash. The Mirror Queen was beside her, guiding her through this wasteland. Anya could hardly believe that this woman, who looked so much like her, had once been the ruler of such a place. The Mirror Queen's face was cold, her eyes distant, as if she too had grown numb to the devastation surrounding them. "This was once my kingdom," the Queen said, her voice a low whisper that barely cut through the silence. "We won the war, Anya. We drove the aliens from our galaxy. But it was a victory that destroyed us." Anya felt a chill run down her spine. How could winning a war destroy a civilization? She had read history, studied conflict, but nothing had prepared her for the magnitude of this truth. The Mirror Queen was a ruler, but her reign had not been a time of peace or prosperity. It had been a time of arrogance and greed. The Mirror Queen continued, her steps slow and deliberate. "We used our technology to burn entire planets. We believed that power over the aliens would bring us peace, but it only brought our own undoing. Our weapons, designed to protect us, turned on us. The devastation we caused destroyed everything. We killed our own world." Anya's mind raced as she took in the sight of the barren lands, the twisted remains of cities, the remnants of human-made structures now reduced to rubble. What had once been a thriving human civilization now lay in ruins, its people scattered and broken. The Mirror Queen's reign, it seemed, had led them to ruin, her victory bringing only destruction. The more Anya saw, the more she understood the weight of the Queen's words. This universe had been consumed by its own triumph. In their drive to dominate, humanity had turned on itself, using the very technology that had once saved them to bring about their own downfall. As they walked deeper into the wasteland, Anya couldn't shake the feeling that the very ground beneath her was a graveyard. The remnants of cities, once proud, now lay abandoned. The streets were empty, the windows shattered, and the buildings leaned at odd angles as though the very earth had rejected them. "Where are the people?" Anya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The Mirror Queen's expression darkened, and she gave a slow, almost imperceptible shake of her head. "Scattered. Hiding. Those who are left live in fear of what we've become. We thought we could build an empire, but we built nothing but ruin." They passed through what had once been a thriving metropolis, now a ghost town. The air was thick with the smell of ash and decay, and Anya could hear the distant sound of something, perhaps the wind, whistling through the hollowed-out structures. "We built these cities, thinking we were invincible," the Mirror Queen continued. "But we were fools. The war ended, and we celebrated, but it was only the beginning of our end. Now, we're nothing. We're ghosts, living in the shadow of our own hubris." Anya felt the weight of the Queen's words. There was a sadness in her voice, a sorrow for the world she had destroyed, a world she could never undo. She had been a ruler, a leader, but her victory had been the final nail in the coffin of her people. They walked for hours through the desolate remains of what was once civilization, the eerie quiet pressing in on Anya from all sides. The Mirror Queen didn't speak much, and Anya didn't know what to ask. What could she possibly say to a woman who had lost everything? to a ruler who had witnessed the fall of her entire universe. Finally, they arrived at a place that looked different from the others. A hidden enclave nestled in a cave-like formation on the edge of a mountain range. The entrance was concealed, and Anya had to follow the queen through narrow, twisting passages to reach the heart of this sanctuary. Inside, the air was thick with tension. The few survivors who lived here were gathered around a central table, speaking in hushed tones. They looked up as the Mirror Queen entered, their faces filled with fear and distrust. They did not greet her as a ruler, but as a reminder of their suffering. One of them, an older man with a weathered face, stepped forward. His eyes were filled with a mixture of contempt and fear. "She's the reason we're here," he muttered under his breath, though loud enough for Anya to hear. "The Queen's victory cost us everything." Anya's heart sank as she looked at the survivors. These people, what was left of humanity in this universe, saw the Mirror Queen as a symbol of their defeat, a living reminder of the destruction she had brought upon them. She had led them to ruin, and now they feared and resented her. The Mirror Queen didn't flinch at their words. She had lived with the weight of their hatred for too long to be affected by it now. She looked at Anya, her expression hardening, as if preparing herself for something. "I am the last of my kind," the Mirror Queen said, her voice cold and resolute. "And the last one with the weapon that can save, or destroy, everything." Anya felt a shiver run down her spine. She hadn't expected this. What weapon could be powerful enough to destroy not just a world, but entire universes? The Mirror Queen motioned for the survivors to leave, and once they were alone, she turned to Anya, her face shadowed by a heavy burden. "I control the last of the universe's most powerful weapon. It has the power to tear through the fabric of reality itself. If I use it, I can destroy other universes, wipe them out completely. And if I die, it dies with me." Anya's mind spun as she tried to grasp the enormity of the situation. The Mirror Queen wasn't just a ruler. She was the last line of defense, or the last threat. With the power to destroy entire realities, the Queen could end everything. "You can stop this," Anya whispered, almost in disbelief. "You can undo all of this." The Queen met her gaze, her eyes filled with sorrow. "It's too late for that. I have already destroyed too much, but there is still a chance to stop the destruction. If you help me, Anya, we can change things, but it will come at a cost." Anya stood in silence, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on her. What could she possibly do? What could she change in a universe so broken, so lost? As the Mirror Queen's final words echoed in her mind, Anya realized that she had no choice. She had come too far. This was no longer just about exploring the unknown. It was about saving everything she knew. But at what cost? Anya stood at the edge of the cavern, her mind still reeling from the Mirror Queen's words. The revelation of the weapon had shaken her to the core. The truth was more terrifying than she had imagined. She had known that the Mirror Queen's universe was broken, a ruined remnant of what it once was. But now she understood that the Mirror Queen wasn't just a symbol of destruction. She was the cause. The weapon she had unleashed had not only devastated her world, it had shattered the very fabric of reality itself. The Mirror Queen stood beside her, her face shadowed by guilt and regret. "The weapon was our greatest creation," she said softly. "It was designed to give humanity control over all the alien races. But we never understood its true power. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a force that could rewrite the laws of space and time. And once it was unleashed, it couldn't be stopped." Anya turned to look at the Queen, her expression torn between horror and disbelief. "But what do you mean by rewrite space-time? What does that even mean?" The Mirror Queen's eyes flickered with a mix of pain and frustration. "We thought we could control it. We thought we could bend it to our will. But it tore apart everything. The fabric of our universe, the multiverse itself, everything. The war against the aliens was only the beginning. Once we unleashed the weapon, the destruction spread beyond our own reality." Anya's heart raced as she tried to comprehend what the Mirror Queen was saying. The weapon had been designed to manipulate cosmic forces, to bend reality to the will of its creators. But in doing so, it had ripped apart the very foundation of existence. Space, time, and reality have become unstable, fragmented, and broken. This weapon, Anya whispered, it destroyed everything in your universe, and now it threatens mine. The Mirror Queen nodded, her gaze distant. Yes, the weapon's influence has already started to bleed into other universes. The rifts it created are spreading. It's like a virus, infecting everything in its path. And she hesitated, as if the weight of her actions was too much to bear. I don't know how to stop it. Anya swallowed hard, the gravity of the situation pressing down on her. Her universe, the one she had fought for, the one she had sworn to protect, was in danger. If the weapon's influence reached her world, if the same thirst for power that had consumed the Mirror Queen's universe took root in hers, everything she knew and loved could be lost. The Mirror Queen's voice broke through Anya's thoughts. I made a mistake, Anya. I thought I could build an empire, that I could control everything. But I was wrong. Now I'm haunted by the consequences. The weapon I unleashed is still out there, destroying everything it touches. And now it threatens not just this universe, but all of them. Anya shook her head, trying to clear her mind. But if you know the weapon is dangerous, why didn't you try to stop it? I tried, the Mirror Queen replied, her voice cracking with emotion. I've tried everything, but it's too powerful. The weapon has a life of its own. It feeds on power, on chaos, and now it's beyond my control. Anya's mind was spinning. She had heard of such weapons before, advanced technologies with the ability to manipulate space and time. But she had never imagined they could be so destructive. This wasn't just a weapon that could destroy a world. It could destroy entire realities, entire universes. And now the Mirror Queen was living with the consequences of her actions. She had won the war, but it had cost her everything. As Anya struggled to process the Queen's words, she realized that there was more at stake than just this ruined universe. The same drive for power, the same arrogance and thirst for dominance could very well exist in her own universe. She had seen it before, the desire to control, to dominate, to conquer. What if her world was already on the same path? What if her people were already beginning to crave the kind of power that had destroyed the Mirror Queen's reality? Anya took a step back, her mind racing. The weapon. It's already spreading to my universe, isn't it? The Mirror Queen didn't answer immediately. She looked at Anya with a mixture of sorrow and fear. Yes, the rifts are already starting to open. Your universe is beginning to feel the weapon's influence. And if it's not stopped, your world will fall just like mine did. Anya's chest tightened. She had to stop it. But how? She was just a scientist, a researcher. She wasn't a warrior, wasn't a leader. She had never been trained for something like this. Yet deep down, she knew she couldn't turn back now. She had come too far. The weapon had to be stopped, before it was too late. Anya froze, the blood draining from her face. A faction. They want to use the weapon. Yes, the Mirror Queen replied. They believe that if they control the weapon, they can rule over all of us. They're already planning to open a rift to your universe. They think the weapon will give them the power to conquer us. Anya's mind spun. This was worse than she had imagined. Not only was the weapon a threat to her universe, but now there were those who sought to control it for their own gain. They were willing to risk everything, other universes, their own reality, for the sake of power. It was the same thirst for dominance that had destroyed the Mirror Queen's world. I have to stop them, Anya whispered, her resolve hardening. I won't let them destroy my universe like you did. The Mirror Queen placed a hand on Anya's shoulder, her touch cold but firm. You can stop them, Anya, but it won't be easy. The weapon is too powerful, and the people who seek it are dangerous. But if you act quickly, you might be able to prevent the destruction. Anya nodded, determination filling her. She had no choice. She had come too far to back down now. The fate of her universe, and possibly countless others, was in her hands. As she turned to leave, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, she couldn't shake the feeling that the weapon was already watching her. It was out there, waiting to strike. And time was running out. Anya stood in the dimly lit chamber, her heart pounding as the weight of the situation pressed down on her. The Mirror Queen was beside her, her eyes distant, her expression unreadable. They had come so far, but now it seemed like there was no easy way out. The weapon that had already torn apart the Mirror Queen's universe and threatened Anya's own, was about to reach its final stage. And the decision that Anya had to make seemed impossible. "I never imagined it would come to this," Anya said, her voice low. "Destroy the weapon, and we risk everything. But if we leave it, it might destroy both worlds." The Mirror Queen's gaze softened, though it was clear the Queen was burdened by her own regret. "I've made so many mistakes, Anya. I thought I could control everything. I thought I could make humanity rise above all others. But now, I see what we've become. We've doomed ourselves." Anya shook her head, trying to focus. "You didn't know what would happen. But now we're here, and the weapon is our only chance to undo everything." She paused, her fingers tightening around the controls in her hands. "But how do we stop it without destroying both realities?" The Mirror Queen didn't answer immediately, her gaze turning towards the dark, looming structure in the distance. The weapon's core was buried deep beneath the surface of the shattered planet. It was a massive, complicated structure, built with alien technology, but powered by an unstable energy source, an energy from the heart of a dying star. "It's not just a weapon," the Mirror Queen said, her voice heavy. "It's a force of nature, a force that should never have been tampered with. We thought we could harness its power. We thought we could control it. But now it's become something we can't stop." Anya bit her lip, her mind racing. "We have to try. If we don't, everything, everyone, will be destroyed." They made their way towards the weapon's core, navigating the maze of corridors and chambers that had been abandoned long ago. The journey was slow, the eerie silence of the place pressing in around them. Anya couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. This wasn't just a weapon. It was a living thing, feeding on the energy of the dying star, and now it was threatening to rip apart both their universes. As they reached the heart of the weapon, Anya stopped in her tracks. The power coursing through the walls, through the air itself, was almost unbearable. The room was alive with energy, crackling and humming with an intensity that made her skin tingle. She felt the pull of it, the temptation to give in to its power, but she knew better. They couldn't let it control them. Not now. Not when so much was at stake. The Mirror Queen turned to her, her face pale. "This is it, the source of all our destruction, the heart of the weapon." Anya nodded, her throat tight. "How do we stop it?" "The weapon is powered by the energy from the dying star," the Mirror Queen explained. "Only someone who understands its true nature can deactivate it." She paused, her expression darkening. "I could do it, but it would cost me. The energy required to shut it down, it would destroy me." Anya's heart sank. "No, there has to be another way." The Mirror Queen looked at her with a mix of sorrow and determination. "I spent so many years trying to undo my mistakes, but in the end, I'll have to make a sacrifice. I knew that when I first stepped foot in this reality. I knew that it was all leading to this moment." Anya stepped forward, her voice urgent. "You can't do this. We can find another way." But the Mirror Queen only shook her head. "There is no other way, Anya. You've seen the damage this weapon has caused. If we don't stop it, both our worlds will be consumed. And if we try to use it, we risk even more destruction. I can do this. I can end it. But you must leave. You must return to your universe. You must save what's left. Anya's mind reeled. The idea of leaving the Mirror Queen behind, knowing that she would sacrifice herself to stop the weapon, was unbearable. But deep down, she knew the Queen was right. The weapon could not be allowed to continue. And the Mirror Queen was the only one who could stop it. But would it be enough? Could she really sacrifice herself for the greater good? Suddenly, the silence was broken by the sound of footsteps echoing down the corridor. Anya's heart skipped a beat. She wasn't alone. The human faction from her universe had arrived. They had found them. "Get ready," the Mirror Queen muttered, her voice hardening. "It's too late to turn back now." Anya felt her blood run cold as she heard the distant sounds of weapons being drawn. The humans had come for the weapon. They didn't care about the consequences, didn't care about the destruction it would bring. They only cared about power, and they were ready to take it by force. Before Anya could react, the doors to the chamber slammed open, and a group of armed soldiers stormed in, their guns raised. The leader of the faction, a tall man with cold eyes, stepped forward. "We've come for the weapon," he said, his voice calm but filled with authority. "Hand it over." The Mirror Queen stepped in front of Anya, her posture resolute. "You don't understand," she said, her voice fierce. "If you take it, you'll destroy everything. You'll destroy your universe, and mine, and every other reality connected to this one." The leader of the faction sneered. "We'll control it. We'll use it to dominate everything. You've had your chance. Now, it's ours." Anya's heart raced as the tension in the room escalated. The faction wasn't interested in reason. They had already made up their minds, and the weapon, already on the verge of activation, was the only thing standing between them and their conquest. "Anya," the Mirror Queen said, her voice low and urgent, "you have to go. You have to warn your universe. I'll hold them off." Anya wanted to protest, wanted to stay and fight. But deep down, she knew there was no time. The weapon was almost ready to fire. And if it was activated now, it would destroy both universes. If she didn't act, everything would be lost. With one last look at the Mirror Queen, Anya turned and ran. She had no choice. She had to stop them. She had to stop the weapon from going off before it was too late. As Anya reached the exit, she heard the sound of gunfire echoing in the distance. She didn't dare look back. There was no time. The fate of both realities rested in her hands, and she had to act quickly. The weapon could not be allowed to be activated. Time was running out. "Get out of the way," one of the soldiers shouted, but Anya didn't listen. She fired the weapon, and sparks flew as the control panel shorted out. The weapon hummed and crackled, its power fluctuating wildly. The leader of the faction shouted in fury, "What have you done?" Anya didn't answer. She turned to the Mirror Queen. "We have to do it now. The weapon is unstable. We can't let them have it." The Mirror Queen nodded and moved toward the heart of the weapon. "Together, we can stop it, but there's no turning back." Anya followed her, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't know if this was the right decision, but it was the only decision they had left. The weapon's energy was becoming more chaotic, the very fabric of both universes beginning to unravel. As they reached the core of the weapon, Anya looked into the Mirror Queen's eyes one last time. "I'm sorry," she whispered, the weight of the choice pressing on her soul. The Mirror Queen nodded, her face unreadable. "It's the only way." With one final push, they activated the sequence that would destroy the weapon. The energy flared, and the entire chamber shook as the weapon began to collapse in on itself. The fabric of both universes twisted and tore, but Anya didn't look back. As the explosion of energy engulfed them, Anya felt her heart breaking. She didn't know what would happen next. She didn't know if either universe would survive. But she knew one thing. She had made the only choice she could live with. The universe went black.